Hey, how's everybody doing today? Well, back to some of my health issues. I told you I'd get back to you, and we'll go through a little bit more of that. Um, uh, Told you about my back and my feet and all that, how I actually got here, living on the edge. And last year, in April, um, came home from Florida. Go down and stay with my son and at the beginning of the year. So um, it helps me to get out of the cold and making my back hurt worse. Because I pretty much have pain all the time. But, I just take my pain meds and deal with it. So came home last year. Got home April the 3rd, I think it was. No, April the 1st. And on April the 2nd, of course, I live in a fifth wheel RV, so got my RV all set up and got everything situated. About 8:30 that evening, I was having some chest pain, so I took some baby aspirin. Thought, no big deal, and it was about 8:30, 10:30. It went away. So I thought, well, I watch a little TV, catch up on my YouTube channels that I watch and stuff like that. And I went to bed about, I don't know, 11:30 and fell asleep probably somewhere around 12. And about 2 o'clock in the morning, I woke up hurting really bad, my chest. So I took some more baby aspirin and I thought, well, it's letting up. I'll go back to sleep. So went back to sleep. 4 o'clock, I wake up and I am hurting worse. So take some more baby aspirin, and which I probably shouldn't have, but I did. Took some more baby aspirin and it let up a little bit. It just kept hurting, in pain though. Um, I had already called my sister and told her, can you take me to the doctor, which was the night before I went to bed. I said, get you to drive me to my doctor's office and have them check me out. But 4 o'clock in the morning, I wake up with all this pain. And so, as I said, I took the baby aspirin and I laid there and tried to fall back asleep. I couldn't. It just hurt too bad. So I got up, started watching TV, and I thought, well, doctor's office opens up at 7:30. So I'll just, give him a call and I'll call the nurse line. Hopefully somebody would answer since they was just getting in the office, and had to leave a message. Well, 10 minutes later, they called me back. So they called me back and they said, get to the emergency room right away. So I said, okay. I said, I got my sister coming. She's dropping her kids off at school and she's on her way here now. And they said, well, we would rather you go by ambulance. I said, I'm not going by ambulance. I said, my sister's on her way. I'll have her take me into the emergency room. And I said, you can tell my doctor that I'm going to, it was Winchester, Virginia Hospital, which I had seen the cardiologist up there before. And because since I was young, I have had high blood pressure. Well, my blood pressure wasn't high anymore. It was dropping very low. I had blood pressures at like 90/60. And so a sister stops, picks me up. Of course, they had told me, said, we would still rather you go by ambulance even if you're going to Winchester. And I said, nah, just have my sister take me. Well, going to Winchester, which is about a 30-minute drive from where I live. And I was having more pain. It was getting worse. And I started feeling the tingling in my left arm. So we get to the emergency room, walk inside. there's two people standing in line waiting. They was waiting on another person already at the desk. And I'm holding my chest. Nurse looks back and says, "Hey," he said, "are you having chest pain, sir?" And I said, "Yes, I am." And I said, "It hurts bad." I said, I said, "I'm just, waiting to see." And she said, "No, you come right up here." And so they took my name. Nurse puts me in a wheelchair, takes me back in the room, hooks me up on the EKG, and my heart rate was beating 227 beats per minute. She hurried up, put me back in the chair, and wheeled me back out by the front desk. She said, "What's your birth date?" I told her, and they wheeled me right back in the room. I put one IV in one arm, an IV in another arm, and I got two different medications pumping into me. And next thing I know, I've got, between doctors and nurses, probably 8 people around me. And the nurse says, "You want me to bring in the crash cart?" And doctor says, "No," said, "it's starting to come back down now." So I'm sitting there waiting, and I can feel all the fluctuations, the dizziness in my head, everything starting to, come back in rhythm. And they said, "We got you, getting you stable now. You're going to be admitted to the hospital until we can find out more about what's going on." So ended up in the hospital for a week. Come to find out, I have ventricular tachycardia. And they said that I was very lucky I even made it to the hospital, because with the heart rate that I had, most people do not make it. They said, "You're very lucky to be alive." So day went by. The next day they take me down. They do a catheterization through my wrist, check all my arteries. I didn't have any blockages. I didn't have any plaque in my heart or arteries, they said, which was very good. They did a echocardiogram. Come to find out, I was like at 30 to 40% heart rate. Basically saying that my heart muscle was dying. So I, am like, so what's going to happen? And they said, "Well, you're going down tomorrow. We're implanting a defibrillator and running a wire down through your vein into the bottom part of your heart, because that is what your problem is the lower part of your heart is dying, and we got to get it back to, healing and all that." So that's what the medications were for and everything that they were putting in me through the IV. So by the time I left the hospital, I'm at like 40 to 45% with the new echo. So I do have a defibrillator in my chest. It's implanted up here. You can feel the wire where it goes into the box and everything. It's kind of feels weird, really. But it works on me. It's worked on me quite a few times, because my heart rate would jump up. And they did tell me one time I was at like 220 beats per minute, and said that if it would have lasted 3 more seconds, I would have got shocked, and I would have known what it felt like to get shocked. They said, one doctor said, "It feels like a mule is going to kick you in the chest." And one doctor said, "It's going to feel like a big grown man took a 2x4 and cracked you across your chest when it shocks you." And I'm like, well, I don't want to feel none of that. Did have some stipulations that I couldn't do, like welding and running chainsaws, running weed eaters. Don't have anything like magnetic close to your chest, because it can interfere with the defibrillator. Which the girl said that check my device when I had to go back in for my checkup. Said, I got guys that run chainsaws. Does not bother them. Of course, you're not holding the chainsaw up by your chest. It's down basically toward your waist. And she said, he runs it every day. That's his job. And I said, okay. I said, what about a welder? She said, no. She said, the current that comes through a welder interferes with the defibrillator because the current is kind of running through your body. I said, how? I said, you're wearing heavy duty gloves and everything else. And she said, I don't know. She said, we just tell everybody not to do it. And of course, me, I like to weld. So, I don't do it a lot anymore, but every now and then I would, do a little bit of welding here and there. But I have not tried because I don't want shot. So, but I've watched videos on YouTube of guys doing it, and they seem just fine, and they said it's never bothered them. I just don't want to take that chance, especially when I know that this thing is working on me, a few times here and there. So, with my heart rate dropping real low and then speeding way up real fast, it's kind of hard to, think about even trying something like that. So I just do what I can. I still have a lot of back pain. My chest gets discomfort in it. But, it's what I do. But, I sit around for a little bit, walk for a little bit, sit around for a little bit, walk for some, but I'm trying to get in more exercising now since last year, because last year I did not do nothing. And of course, I really couldn't do anything. I felt like crap with my chest and everything I went through. So, so questions, do any of you have this issue? Have you had back fusions before, and several years later you start hurting back to like you did before? I'm kind of starting to feel that way. My feet are starting to hurt again. So do any of you, had your fusions in your low back and all that? Let me know how you feel, what you've done to maybe help correct it if you can. I have decided that no more back surgeries unless I absolutely cannot walk again like I was before. 10 minutes on my feet, 10 minutes of walking, and then I was done. I had to sit down and rest for a little bit. And then you can't rest for very long because then your back starts hurting again. I still have a lot where if I sit in the car or sit down in the house or, just sit down anywhere and you go to get up and you can't hardly get up. And then it takes you a minute to get to, walking again because you can't hardly move when you first stand back up. And so, have any of you had these troubles? What have you done to help with it? Have any of you had to have a defibrillator implanted? What have you done with that? Did you used to weld before? What kind of jobs did you do? I actually used to work at a cement plant, and I did pretty much everything: run equipment, maintenance work, a lot of welding. So, let me know what you've done, what you haven't done, and then I will answer your question or your answers. I will get back with you. So, if you like this video, please subscribe and like the video. And there'll be more to come, I'm sure, with the issues that I'm having. I just had all my checkups done. So, everything seems to be doing good. I had a new echo done, which was my yearly checkup for the echocardiogram. And they said my heart is healing. It's at 40 to 45 to 50% now. So they say that is really good. Did show my one valve, the tricuspid valve, said it was leaking a little bit in my heart. And so when the doctor got back with me about the echo, I did ask him, and he said, well, one of the problems is the lead from your defibrillator runs through there. And they said, so it can't let it close all the way to stop the blood from, backflowing. So they said it will leak back a little, but it's not enough to hurt anything. So that is a good thing. I'm glad. So that was kind of worrying me when I seen it on the test results before the doctor got back with me. But anyway, if you like these videos, please subscribe, and there'll be different videos coming, not just all my medical issues. I will get back with you, and eventually we'll be getting outside, and I'll be doing some things, walking and stuff, trying to get myself built back up and things like that. Also, I got into this YouTube by getting on a school, and it's SKOOL, Common Sense Methods, with Kevin and Michelle. Kevin started the school, and he answers a lot of questions for a lot of us. He puts out videos for us on how to do better at making YouTube. So, if you want to, it's a free 7-day trial. After that, it's like $9 a month, which most people waste $9 a month. But if you want to get into YouTube, be a creator yourself, and start making your own videos, eventually you can be monetized and, start making some money. But, get on the school. I will put a referral link down in the comments for the school for you to come over and check it out. See if you like it. We have a lot of members. Gunkle Billy is on there. He's one of our school members, and he does really good. Mac on the Move, which lives in Alaska, he's on here. Kevin and Michelle both have their own different channels. They have a lot of channels, and you can join their channels. You can join any of the school members' channels. Subscribe to them. A lot of them do really good. I can't think of a lot of them. I think there's one guy named Frank Thompson, Holly Hawks. We have a bunch of members. There's Sherry. Can't think of her last name. I can't pronounce her last name. She has a lot of videos on here. So, come join the school. Try it out. See how you like it. And we'll see you on the next video. Thank you, and bye, and have a great day.